Now, what happens when a child commits a crime? And this is explained in the new Children's Act 2022. In this act, they are saying that a child of 12 years is incapable of committing a crime. Well, previously in the old act, the criminal liability age was 8 years. Now it has been upgraded up to 12 years, meaning a child of around class 7, class 8, once they commit a crime and you take them to court, the judge will look at them and say, take your child home. This child does not understand what he or she is doing. That is called criminal liability. Because when you're committing a crime, there need to be something called the mens rea and actus rea. That is the mind and the action itself. And the act is saying that a child of 12 years might not understand this thing. If a child maybe burns a house, especially students, they burn a house, they beat each other, and maybe one of them is fatally injured, these children might not understand what they are doing. Again, the same act, the Children's Act, says that if a child of 14 years is brought to court for having committed a crime, before the trial begins, the court will have to examine if the child understands what a crime is and understands the nature of the actions he or she is being accused of. It's called a voir dire examination, where questions are asked, maybe what is your name? Do you understand what is right or wrong? Do you know what you did can be punished? Such questions. And if the court establishes the child can answer those questions, then the child is put on trial. Another thing the act says that every child, when brought to court, their right to privacy must be very, very highly safeguarded. In case of detention, they restrict any form of detention of the child, especially in a remand cell where they are adults. Again, the child must be represented by an advocate at the expense of the state if the parents of the child, or maybe the child is an orphan and there is no way they can be able to afford an advocate. The state is supposed to provide legal representation. Once the child is found to have been culpable of the crime, that is, there is a verdict, the child is convicted of the crime, though there are two methods of now punishing this child. The child can follow the judicial way, where he will be taken to a rehabilitation center or maybe a detention center, where he will serve his sentence until the age of majority, especially in these felonies. These are crimes that attract sentences of more than 3 years, up to life imprisonment. There the child will be locked up, but not in a normal jail. Again, in normal other offenses, there will be the process of diversion, where instead of going through the judicial process, the child is punished, but in a way that the integrity of the child is protected. And this form of punishment is mostly rehabilitation, so that the child might not repeat the offense. And this seems to be a good act of safeguarding the rights and welfare of the child. For we all know children are highly regarded and protected by a constitution. Article 53 of the constitution, this says it's like a mini bill that emphasizes on the rights and welfare of the child. And whatever is done for a child, it has to be done in the best interest of the child. That is all. Kindly like and subscribe this channel.